Because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
You thought the game was over, but it's only just begun.
Well, to Massacre, known as Safe. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I want to go over my review. I just saw it last night, The Strangers Chapter 1, okay? Directed by Rennie Harlan, okay? Here's the thing, okay? As a fan of The Strangers, okay, I might be the minority on this, okay? Now, as a standalone film, okay, this film was... I felt like it was enough and not enough at times, okay? This is 1 out of 3 movies of a trilogy. We'll get the Chapter 2 in October. We'll get the Chapter 3 early next year. So as a standalone film, I don't think it is a good film. I think it was okay, but I didn't think it was anything off the map that made it that special. So until I see the other 2, I won't rank this as a whole yet, but as a standalone film, this is what we're here for. Okay, Rennie Harlan promised us that he would really bring us back to the suspense of The Strangers and where kind of this whole thing will take place. And to be honest with you, I feel like even with the main characters, okay, with Madeline Pesh and the boyfriend, I thought that they were not great in the beginning. I thought later in the film I started to care about them a little bit more. And obviously that mid-credit scene is very interesting to see where Chapter 2 is going to lead us, which we'll talk later in this video about. Going into the film itself, it's just... I felt like there was a lot of wasted scenes in this movie. Like, as soon as the strangers attack, the axe opens, Man in Mask opens the door with the axe. They go into a room and they sit there for like 5 minutes without talking. And then they're under the house, under the floorboard for 10 whole minutes without talking barely. And then they go to the shed outside to get, the shotgun, and they're in there for like 5 minutes. I feel like there just wasn't enough movement to keep the suspense rolling. And that was my biggest problem of this film. And I like the film. I like it. It's okay. I have no issue. It's not the best thing I've ever seen in my life, but it was okay. What I really liked about it, the suspense that we actually got, was when the boyfriend went out on the motorcycle to get his inhaler from his vehicle. That, if you guys remember the beginning of the film where they went to the diner and then they came back out, the car wouldn't start, a lot of creepy town. It seems like everybody's in it or something. I don't know. While he was gone, Madeline Pesh, I liked how she was walking around the house. She would take a shower. She would play on the piano, and you would hear footsteps, and you would hear somebody went up the stairs. Somebody went behind her. Man in Mask was sitting behind her on a chair in a corner while she was on the piano. There was such good suspense, scary little scenes like that really kept me invested in the film. But I just think there was a lot of just wasted scenes. Now, with The Strangers in general, I don't think any of them, and this isn't a gore porn type of film. This isn't, this is purely you like the suspense more than actual kills in this movie. Really, the most brutal kill that you really see in this movie is right in the beginning, where the movie just starts from the beginning, where we're not introduced to anything yet. This man is running through the woods in the daytime. The strangers catch up to him. Man in Mask, the rest of them corner this man on the ground, and he pretty much behind, a tree transition. The tree is passing by, and he's hitting him with an axe right to the head or through his body. I thought that was really cool. They're out in the daytime. That's great. But them going into the house and really just walking around the whole time, I just didn't see much movement. The jump scares were okay at times. And really going to that ending where, both of really a lot of stupid decision making from Madeline Pesh and the boyfriend, splitting up. They both get caught finally. And they're tied up in chairs like they were, like the couple was, in the first film. Man in Mask stabs the boyfriend in the chest or in the side of the stomach with the knife. He's bleeding internally. He kicks the chair while he's still tied in it, so he's choking on his own blood. He dies. Madeline Pesh, Man in Mask was staring in her face for a long time, and then the other one, I forgot which one it is, but the other one ended up stabbing her and then kicking the chair over pretty much the same exact way. And that's pretty much how it ends. There's no kids find her like in the first. There's no kids, the two kids that you see early in the movie, they don't find the body. The cops actually are on their way. You hear sirens and they end up getting in the Ford pickup truck. The strangers end up leaving the area. The cops must have found them, the dead bodies. And then you get to this mid-credit scene where Madeline Pesh is in the hospital. She survives, which is fantastic, which I was kind of shocked over that a little bit. I guess, her story is going to continue, I guess, into chapter 2. And while she's waking up out of the hospital bed, Man in Mask is laying right next to her in the hospital bed. And he kind of lifts his head up and looks at her, and then it ends. I really liked, I don't know if it was Pinup Girl, where he held the shotgun to her head, at the end of the trailer where she's like, oh, she's like flipping out. I really like that scene of her laughing in her mask, and she's just laughing and while the butt of the shotgun is right on like hitting her mask pretty much. I really like that scene a lot. It just show how crazy this person was. But that's really it. There's not really much else to really go over. I could talk about this for probably 20 minutes maybe, but it was just, to me, it just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't good enough. I like it. I would watch it again. I like it. The big issue I have is utilizing the strangers in the more suspense area than just jump scares. Okay. Jump scares were okay. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 for jump scares. It wasn't fantastic. But suspense in the beginning, before the boyfriend came back with the food, like, that's what I really liked. That was like, she's looking, there's noises, the Man in Mask is watching her in the shower. He's sitting behind her while she's on the piano. She smoked some pot and like just tried to calm herself down. She thought she saw somebody. Like, I really like the suspense of just how they got in the house in separate ways, of all the noises you hear and the little, times that they appeared behind her and she didn't even notice, which I absolutely love that so much. And then progressively, it just got to, let's go in a room and hide. Let's stay quiet for 10 minutes. And then it's a waste of 10 minutes of the whole scene. You know what I mean? Like, they go into one room, they sit there for 10. They go under the floorboard. She stabs her hand with a nail, and she's just sitting there for 10 minutes. Like, it was just, I felt like it was just slowed down way too much. So that's all I really have to say. That's my review of The Strangers Chapter 1. As a standalone movie, it's a 6 to a 7. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. It's not fantastic. But it's definitely rewatchable for some suspense, some jump scares, and I felt like I cared about the boyfriend and girlfriend more towards the end than towards really the beginning. I thought the acting was better towards the end than it was in the beginning. And that's really it. I love the looks of the strangers. I love that off-road type, they're dressed in the jackets, and I like how they look. I think the cinematography of some of the, chasing them in the woods, I thought that was great. And how they look, the cinematography of some of these shots of them walking and looking scary as hell. I thought the strangers looked fantastic. Now we go into chapter 2 where, this first movie was supposed to be a carbon copy. I think a lot of people are confused. Like, this is just like the first movie. Well, yes, it's supposed to be, because Rennie Harn wanted to retell the first movie with a little bit of a twist and then get into the second, third movie where everything is going to change now. Backgrounds of the characters, who the strangers are. We're going to find out who Tamara is. It's going to get kind of crazy. I hope the second movie hopefully makes the first movie look even better, and I can't wait for it. So, like I said, not great, but solid, okay for a first movie. Could have been a little bit better. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Sorry for ranting so much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.